All right, so we still got changes going on in the market. So what I'm going to do is show you guys a little bit of what's happening. This is year-to-date information of closed sales. Um, I'm sorry, this is by month, and this is a year from September to August. So we're up a little bit in the last 12 months for closed sales. This is the Beltway area: Fairfax, Arlington, Alexandria, Falls Church, Fairfax City. Just so y'all see what's going on. So we are leading last September. Now, this is the units, this is the percentage change. So December 2024, the number of sales was up over December 2023 by 27%. And then bang, this is when all the Capitol Hill stuff started happening.
Right.
March, April, May, and then shot up in June, down in July, August. These are closings, and it's up, about 2%. So it is demonstrating. I don't know if that's really demonstrating the interest rate drops or not, but I guarantee you, probably September's going to hit, and we're going to have an uptick a little bit over last September. These are the median sales price. It's not affecting that too much. And this is the average price number. This is the closed sales. That is dropping, has dropped a bit, but it is up August to August, 25 to 24. And then these are the new listings up a little bit. And that surge of listings seems to have slowed down area wide. Now, here's where we're really feeling it. When everyone, oh, we got listings up, but sales are matching the same as last year. This right side of the chart, that's where we're feeling it. How many active listings are staying on the market while this market's absorbing it? So this is why we think, people saying it's buyer's market. And this is where the difference between a national number and a local number is huge. And why looking at the local numbers is a lot, brings everybody down to earth, keeps them from making bad decisions, stuff like that. New pendings, these are the ones that have gone under contract in that month. They're a little bit higher than they were last year, even though we've had all the stuff going on with our federal jobs. And then this is Bright's take on it. Now, this Bright, I got this blue map here because this shows the whole coverage area of Bright MLS. So we're right here in the middle down by DC. But for this whole coverage area, which is kind of mid-Atlantic, the sales are down 2.7% from a year ago.
What
The
is,
new listings are only up 2.3%.
Anthony, is that number really relevant? As you said, local is what matters. We don't care about Pennsylvania or West Virginia or New Jersey or
Yeah,
Delaware.
it does. This is just I wanted to show you what was going on elsewhere because honestly, for us, what's happening here may not be happening outside of the DC market.
Hmm.
And we at least want to know what's happening. I would say this is regionally so that we can have that discussion with people. Because a lot of the discussions we get, as you'll see in just a moment when we get into negotiation, they're listening to stuff nationally, they're listening to it regionally, and I want you guys to be aware of it as well. Our local stuff, really, it's Fairfax, Arlington, Alexandria. And if you're outside that, like me, I want to know what's happening in Prince William, what's happening in Loudoun, and even so down in Fredericksburg, that area. It's 66 and 95. That's what I really want to know as a Virginia realtor. I think that's kind of our market area. But Arlington, because its price is a little bit different. But I also want to see, well, what's happening around the region outside of the capital area. And so that's kind of what we see. Price is still rising. That's definitely happening here, even with all the stuff happening on Capitol Hill. They do say they're holding back. And this is where I would say, how do we negotiate in a shifting market when people are holding back? Sellers are coming back on, and this basis points drop that the Fed did, as you know, those are really for bank to bank, their credit cards, their lines of credit, and things such as that. What CMG loan officers have said, Rob Gaskins, he'll say, well, it's kind of built in as we see things coming down the pike, because mostly your mortgages are on a 10-year bond. So what's ever happening to the 10-year bond? Now, what was it? Stock market hit a new height last week. And as the stock market goes up, usually your bond goes down. So that will most likely have some sort of effect. I mean, for them to come down in the prices, everyone gets excited about that. But remember, that means those economists are seeing and making decisions based on, well, what's going on with the economy. And so if the 4%, the 3%, the 2%, that was all COVID. Okay. That was not because of it's a great time to buy, so let's bring the interest rates down. When the market gets hot, those interest rates will go up. When the market slows down, that means the economy is slowing down and the rates will come down. I don't know that they'll ever come down in that 5% range again. If they do, it means people are losing jobs. Offer strategy, slow. I want to point out a couple of things. I'm going to open up everybody by a raise of hand. How many were in the market during the short sales? That was 2008, 9, 10. Anybody in the market then? Anybody?
Yep.
I am truly the oldest fart in the room. That's what's going on here.
You're not the oldest.
Anybody?
You're not
Oh,
the
yeah,
oldest,
Rashad.
but I wasn't in real estate then.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, I just wasn't in real estate then.
Okay. All right. Got it. So,
I was here.
okay. Yeah. Rashana, yeah. Anybody else? All right. So what I'm going to talk to, and those that were in the market in 08, 9, and 10, you'll remember these days. And it wasn't horrible. It was just different. Now, no, that was horrible. Every market was like a 6-month supply. It was really slow. And we did show people 40
A lot of
homes,
houses.
a lot of houses. It wasn't like, here's 5, now pick one. It was like, here's 50, here's 50. We've already seen everything that's on. Well, let's go see the one. And you get back in your car and go see a house for the 3rd time. That's kind of what was going on. What we're having here is just people, it's slowed down. Ergo, the charts I showed earlier. So a slow market doesn't mean declining, but because it's slowing down, because we're getting up to that 2-month supply, some of the appraisers will start coming in with lower prices. But so a slow market doesn't mean declining. Full price is where I go from, unless the house has just absolutely been there for a long time and they're more monthly payment sensitive. I like to go in and say, well, if they came down on their price, let's go for that, but start asking them for stuff. Okay. Go for the concessions. Concession is more money in the buyer's pocket, is what it means. If I come down $20,000 on the price versus $20,000 on a concession, the only cash the buyer's saving is their down payment on that $20,000. So if they're putting 20% down, they've saved $4,000. Rather, if I got them $20,000 from the seller, kept that price up, got 20 grand from the seller, that's like they put $20,000 in the.
Huh? Can everybody else hear him?
Can y'all hear me?
I hear you.
I hear you just fine, Anthony.
Okay. All right. So they can hear me, Laura. They can hear me. So, so the concessions, actual cash in their pocket. And I actually have to have a talk with some buyers whenever they say, well, I don't want to pay that. They've been on the market so long. I said, you said you wanted the 3%. You wanted the $21,000. Let me show you how that's going to save you more money. And it's literal cash in their bank account that they are able to keep now because I've got a concession. So let's start with contingencies, home inspections. So we think home inspection, we got that home inspection contingency, and it's got mechanical and it's got radon. In this market, this is the time to start contacting your roofer, contact your chimney person, you want to look up the permits in the county, but hire a roofer and get them out there to look at the roof. Because the mechanical and the radon, love the home inspectors, but if they say there's a problem with the roof, what are they going to say in their report?
Get a roofer inspection.
Yeah. You need to get a roofer to look at this. And now I've got to continue. And now I've got what, 7 days, 5 days. I'm trying to get this done. Have the roofer meet you out there. Well, it's $100 more. Fine. If you have seen that roof and you've walked around and those are old fashioned shingles, you want to get a roofer to tell you it's got 4 years, it's got 14 years. Where are we with that roof? You want a chimney inspection. A home inspector is going to look at that, see a bunch of creosote, and say, yeah, this needs to be looked at. We'll go ahead and have it looked at. Go ahead and I'll have those inspections all done in that 5 or 7 day period. That's another thing is if you're not competing, you can move that up to like 7-day inspection period. Permits on the county sites, you can go and find the permits. This is when you see these rehab homes, you definitely want to see the permits. So be asking for the proof of evidence of that. So then you have the home inspection. And here's what I look at. Safety first, electrical, plumbing, water heater, stuff like that. So I definitely want those taken care of. Anything that's deferred maintenance, I go for that. I do not take the 85 points that the home inspector found and put that in. It's not a punch list. Okay. Now, if you are still negotiating and you do have to waive the home inspection or have an inspection for information purposes only, I do a punch list in the contract so that I'm telling them we want the dishwasher replaced. It smells when you open it. We want the cracked window in the kitchen fixed. We want the sliding glass door back on its rails. So I put in an addendum. We're not going to have a home inspection, but we want these items done. And so I do add that on there so that when they say yes, they've said yes to the house. And I've gotten some items that they're now going to do. And then the debate's always there. Do I get them to do the repairs or do I have the financial credit? If the buyer is not Harriet homeowner, then maybe you have the repairs done. If the house is absolutely disrepair and you can tell that the owners, that's been a secondary thought for them, you may want to get the credit and then have your buyer do those things themselves. What's y'all's take on that? That's kind of where I come. It's not etched in stone.
My general preference is to get a credit so that the buyer can choose who does the work and how it's done. But it depends on what it is, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else? Any nightmares on letting the seller do the repair and then?
That's a nightmare. And not only that, they may get the cheapest person to do it, where like Andy just said, if the seller does it, he knows what kind of workmanship is being done.
You mean the buyer?
The buyer.
Yeah. That's true. They get their own person.
Right.
If I find a few things that are wrong, but the rest of the house looks like in great shape, and it gives me evidence that seller actually just didn't know about this dry rot or something, then I might let them do it. So I had one like that this summer where there was rot on the bottom of the deck footing, and this house was in great shape, but I just tossed it back to her because I knew that was going to be, and it was over $10,000. Oh no, it was like $3,000 to fix that. I let her take care of that.
Mm-hmm.
And she got it done quickly. So that's kind of how that goes. All right.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm in a contract now where the seller has done a whole bunch of upgrades. So the house must have fallen into some kind of disrepairs because they just about had the whole house redone in terms of upgrades and improvements.
Yeah.
So in that situation, I have to be very careful because we really don't know if the work that they did, once the walls and things are closed up, is any good, right?
Right. Also, another thing you want to look at is fairfaxcounty.gov. Do I need a permit? I think they've updated this because now it's residential projects. Look at what is required. Can y'all see my screen from Fairfax
Yes.
County?
Mhm.
Yes, thumbs up.
Wait,
Somebody.
does this saying that replacing household appliances requires a permit?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
they
To
they
replace the
changed. Yeah,
stove?
they used to not have that.
That makes no sense. I mean,
Yeah,
if you can slide the stove out,
right.
freestanding range, and you slide the new one in and you plug it in.
Same thing with the fridge.
I think that may be gas stoves, what they're thinking.
Well, gas stoves
But
definitely,
they didn't.
but it doesn't differentiate it. It just says direct replacement of household appliances. Let me open up this link here.
Nobody's gonna do that. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's a household appliance permit. That's what they're calling it now.
Oh, that's just more money. That's all that
For the
is.
replacement or first-time installation of appliances within a residence. These permits require one inspection to verify code-compliant installation. So I'll just let you know that's why it's important to look at this stuff. But I think I'm with Andy on this. I think they changed this because
But
it used to
when
not
you-
require appliances.
But Anthony, when you clicked on the details, it said electric stoves are not, you don't need a permit.
Oh, I'm sorry that. Oh,
The replacement of mechanical appliances is exempt only if they're not fueled by gas or oil.
oh, got it. Okay, good.
This is just Fairfax?
This is Fairfax County. And that's where some of these, keep that in mind, Prince William, Fairfax, Arlington, they're going to have different requirements. New repair or relocated electrical fixtures, new repair or relocated mechanical or gas fixtures, new repair. So this right here tells me I've got a rehab property. If they added a bathroom, if they changed the bathroom around, if they moved electrical things, hey, we added some plugs. Great. Where's your permits?
Right, so I should ask them for permits for everything that they've done.
Yeah.
And should I be able to find those, back that up by finding these permits on that site?
You know, I used to say yes, but I went searching this morning and it was not simple. And I looked up a house that I know had permits, and I couldn't find them.
Oh,
I was like, well, that's not encouraging. So it might include actually calling the county and say, I know this house had some work on it. Do you have anything?
right.
Okay.
Well,
So-
sometimes people,
So this-
go ahead.
I'm sorry, this house is in Springfield, so it would be in that.
Yeah, Fairfax County.
Mm-hmm.
But some people get a permit and then in order to kind of close it out and get it on the books, they have to have somebody come back out and inspect it when the work's done. And if that wasn't done, they may have gotten a permit, but it never got
Right.
completely
We had
done.
one, I don't know if it was this year or last year, but we ran into this and it was a rehab and no permits. And the agent's buyer really wanted it. So the agent buyer called the county.
We didn't get that inspected.
So
Hey,
they,
Steve?
yeah, so they went and got the county involved, and the county came out and they had to tear open some walls, look at some plumbing, and then the rehabber had to fix the walls again. So now moving on to pricing strategy. This is for sellers. Don't lean forward on the prices. Go with the last sale. Unless there's something absolutely different and upgrades versus, I got updates versus upgrades. An update means the appliances have been replaced. Okay. And they're like type appliances that are now popular for today's house. An upgrade would be, okay, what I had was a fridge that was just a regular old fridge with nothing special, but now I've got, it's got the TV on the front and I tap the window and the light comes on. I can see it. That's an upgrade on that. So anyway, on the pricing strategies, you want to look at those things. The time for the owner to give you a spreadsheet is, you just got to get the spreadsheet from the owner from the last several years. What have you done to this house? And you hand that to the appraiser, because there is value on these items and on these repairs and updates that the appraiser can add on to the price. We're starting to see some low appraisals come in. We've always had that periodically, especially when they were escalating so much. But now, even on a regular price, we're getting some appraisal issues. But they've got to do repairs or absolutely price it, tens of thousands of dollars lower so that they can get the contracts. Okay.
Can you explain more what you mean about go with last sale and don't lean forward?
Yeah. I mean, we have this increase in value of about 2% overall. Well, let's say that
2% of over what period?
over the last year. So
Really? That's all?
yeah, that's where we are right now, is 2% over last year for home sale prices. Your community might be different. Maybe you're getting multiples. You're getting multiples on every property, great. But we know that the multiple offer property is the outlier now. The regular one is hitting at or below, and the ones that are hitting at, they most likely came down to that price. So they're already coming down, and that's not being lost on the appraisers. So I'm like, the neighbor's house went for $899 or $875. You probably should price it at $875 and then let that move up forward a little bit, because 2%, okay, maybe I'm at 880, 880, 883, 884, maybe a little bit more, but prepare the seller that, we're going to go for this price that you want, but you need to be ready to come down. And some of the agents, I think some on this call, they go ahead and put 2 weeks, we're coming down to this price, another 2 weeks, we're coming down to that price, and go ahead and pre-plan it. So they know we can't play around with this thing. If it doesn't sell in 14 days, you're going to come down in price. Okay. And then look at what your updates versus your upgrades, or you're trying to sell it as is. If you're selling it as is, then just get the thing all cleaned up. Make it spick and span, clean it up, get it decluttered at least, so people can vision their own stuff in there without thinking, boy, I can't see my bedroom in here because it's so full of junk. You just got to get that out of the way. Just even if you're going to do that as is, at least clean it up and get it emptied. All right, low appraisal. There are 4 options in the appraisal notice. One is the buyer can void. Let's say it's a $850 and it comes in. We had one just the other day. I was talking with an agent, off not even $5,000. I was like, really? And it was a townhouse. It was like 570. Let's say 579 came in 575. It was crazy. So their option in this is void, or ask the seller to reduce down to the appraisal. Meet somewhere in the middle. Look, I'll come up 2,500. You come down 2,500. Or the buyer just bring more money to the table. More money to the table. These are your 4 options, and be aware of them. Talk up everything. This particular one that came in low is just this past week, is the seller was giving them some money at the table for the price that they were paying. And now it came down $5,000. I think it was $7,000 at the table, coming down $5,000. Now that seller may think, great, this is costing me $12,000. But this buyer was breaking a lease to get in the property. So this buyer was also having to bring extra money. And so you make that part of your story in your pushback for the seller to reduce or meet in the middle, because the buyer's already bringing even more money that the seller's not seeing on the HUD, on the Alta. And that's just part of your story. I appreciate it, because here's the thing about this on my next page, I think. Yeah. I'll come back to that one. Even if that seller has to come down $5,000, they are still selling for the highest price ever.
Right.
Okay. And I think you have to get sellers to look at that and consider, as we go buy a house with you, this is also what might happen when you go buy a house. Even though the low appraisal home is selling for it's selling for the highest level. Now, if it's a VA, this is a talking point to a seller. This is a VA loan. We had 3 VA loans, and we picked the highest priced one. But remember, this $5,000 ding or this $10,000 ding, it is now on that property for 180 days. Every appraiser that's doing this with a VA loan is going to see it with that price connected to it, and that's stuck at that price for the VA appraiser. Okay. And then buyer, do you think it'll be worth the sales price within a year? If they had activity on it, if there was more than one offer, it's going to sell out from underneath you, even if as a buyer. Yeah, I was running into all kinds of people when we were looking at it. All right, you're off $5,000. That's 1%. Do you think it's going to be worth more than 1% next year? And then we review the prices of what's happened in the year. And that's just to help the buyer to cross the channel, cross the bridge. If they've got a little bit more cash, then they negotiate with, I'll bring some to the table, you bring the price down, or I'll bring all the money to the table. And then with both buyer and seller, you just review price changes in the area over the last several years. So they see that where are we? Where's it headed? We can't guarantee that's where it's going to keep going, but I guarantee you what I can tell you is with these interest rates dropping, is it not going to get busier again? Are we going to see a lot of buyers have been waiting for this to come down? Okay, it's coming down. Now the buyers we've been trying to write something through all whole summer when they didn't have any competition, now they're going to have competition. So that's all I got on the presentation here as far as, in a buyer market. One thing I would add to this is not really about negotiation. If you have buyers, don't let them sit through a weekend without going out. You want to be calling them, Wednesday, Thursday, even today, call your buyers and say, hey, some properties are coming on the market. Let's go out and take a look at these new properties. Don't let them hold off seeing houses because they just don't like the pictures.
Do you really think it's a buyer's market or a balanced market? I mean, aren't we still seeing a lot of houses get snapped up fairly quickly?
We are. And it's the balanced market. And going back to those slides, this is what we're seeing is, people are just, they're not used to this. They're not used to this active listing activity here on the right side of this chart.
Mm-hmm.
This is all the way back to 2022 type of levels in 2021 after COVID.
Right.
And so is the month, that's what I'm saying. It's saying that it's a seller's market. It's in that 1.5 to 2 months supply, but the sellers aren't sitting there waiting for their price. And we do see that if they have to wait, their days on market is jumping up to 40, 30 days, 40 days, some of them even 60 days. So we have to at least get them prepared that you may not be the one that gets 4 offers. And you can keep waiting on your price, but either that conditions got to change. And you're right in that it is not a buyer's market. It is not over 4 months supply. But when we get to 3 months supply, sellers are they're just so conditioned to this over the weekend 3 offers thing.
Right.
Because when people walk in and they list their house right now, they have 4 years or 5 or 8 years of history that they're hanging on to.
Right.
And the story of the guy down the road that got $50,000 more.
Right. Seems to be we had an extreme seller's market for the last few years. And so it seems terrible. Seems like a buyer's market all of a sudden.
Right.
I think it's slowed down a little bit. It's just
yeah.
bitching and moaning about interest rates being high, but we all know the historical average has been around 7% for the past 50 years. It's just we had that short period of extremely low rates, which was really unusual, and people got spoiled by that.
Yeah, and I like this one right here, the active listings, because it shows this sudden jump in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
This is active listings. It means we got new listings, that's fine, but the active listings are the one that tell you what's going on with the market. They're sitting there, they're active. And the active listings are what is making this market feel so soft. So that's what I'm saying. And you have to kind of take it honestly, house by house. It's not even community or zip code by zip code. It's house by house, because you'll have one house get multiple offers, and there's 3 other houses in the same community, but those 4 people that lost in the offer don't go and write on that one. So it's just, I've been this 30 years this year, and this one's even making me scratch my head. So it's just a weird market. Any other input? Any other questions on anything else we got here? Thank you. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Well, Anthony, can you hang
Yeah.
on for 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
A separate type of thing. Any other questions besides?
Yeah, but I want to.
Yeah. Okay. But anybody else? Anything else? Okay. All right, folks. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. So